Hello and welcome to Awful Commentary. Today we are back on the Fallout 4 character builds. This time we're going to be showing you the X-Men's Wolverine. Now you may be thinking, Wolverine and Awful Commentary, that just sounds like it goes hand in hand. And that would be because we have a lot of videos of our Fallout 4 Let's Play using a Wolverine build that we did. So what you'll be seeing here is a sum of our experiences, what worked for us, what didn't work for us, and trying to find the middle ground between something that's true to the character, but then something that also works within the game. So let's get straight to it. Wolverine special stats. As you can see, this is not a compromising build. If we don't need a special stat to be there for a perk or a boost, then it's not there. If you've watched our Let's Play, you'll notice that some of the special stats we're using here are actually different to the ones we used in the beginning of the game. Wolverine's endurance starts at 10 because although he's not going to be able to start regenerating from the beginning of the game, he is a melee build, and as such, he's going to be soaking up a lot of damage. His strength sits at 6 because most of the perks you're going to want for him are within those first 6 points. Although this is one of the specials you want to be increasing later on in the game to make sure you're hitting harder, consider you start fighting mole rats and the odd raider, a strength of 6 is going to see you through. One of the major character compromises we've had to make here is just to cut his perception. The Logan fans out there will know that Wolverine is an incredible tracker with enhanced senses. So a perception of 2? Are you crazy? Unfortunately, this is just down to gameplay elements within Fallout 4. Unlike in previous Fallout installments, perception no longer has any relevance on how easy it is for you to see or discover enemies. Instead, what it really governs is how well you are as a ranged fighter, and that's just not something we're interested in at all. As such, take the perception bobblehead to get your perception to 3 so you can take the awareness perk, but unless you really want Locksmith, it doesn't need to go any higher. Although Wolverine has been a member of pretty much every team under the sun, he works best when he is on his own. As such, we've put his charisma to 3 so you can invest in the Lone Wanderer perk. Logan's intelligence sits at 1 because there aren't any perks there that we necessarily want, but his agility starts at 4. Although those first 4 perks aren't necessarily the ones you want to be investing in, the agility tree is going to come in useful later. It also determines the number of action points you have, and thus how much you can use VATS, which for Wolverine, you're going to be wanting to use a lot. And we've given him a luck of 2 to be boosted with 3 with the special book, because how can you have a Wolverine build if you aren't exploding people apart with your claws?
After that brilliant explanation of the character setup by Dominic, I'm going to go through the perks. Now, as always, I recommend you stay in Sanctuary for at least 5 levels, scrapping everything you can. This way, you can take your 5 main perks before you even venture off into the Commonwealth. Now, those 5 main perks for Wolverine are going to be Iron Fist, Adamantium Skeleton, Lone Wanderer, Bloody Mess, and Life Giver. Now, I think no matter who you are, if you're doing a Wolverine build, Iron Fist, Adamantium Skeleton, and Life Giver have to be essential to your build. Adamantium Skeleton pretty much explains itself, Iron Fist for that melee damage, and Life Giver because at rank 3 you get that health regeneration. Now whilst this isn't a perk that I usually take, you can't argue that it's an absolute must for Wolverine. Bloody Mess doesn't just help visually represent the sheer gruesomeness of Wolverine's claws, it also gives you an extra bonus to your damage. This combined with Lone Wanderer, which at rank 3 gives you plus 25% more damage, and combined with our Iron Fist perks, as we get towards the end of the game, Wolverine is going to be doing an awful lot of damage. To accompany the 5 main perks, we recommend you take Awareness, Solar Powered, and Idiot Savant. Now, Awareness is here to make up for that lack in perception that Dominic spoke about earlier, and Solar Powered, whilst definitely not something related to Wolverine's character, it seems kind of stupid for a gameplay sense to not take the most powerful perk in that endurance chart, especially when we're rocking 10 endurance. Now, Idiot Savant. Yes, I know. Idiot Savant at level 19? Are you crazy? Well, let me explain. Well, simply put, we didn't have a choice. In order to take Idiot Savant from the beginning, we would need luck of 5, and that's just not possible with the setup we want to go with. It would be too much of a compromise to try and adjust his special stats to include that from the beginning, and let's be honest, early on in the game, it's not very difficult to level up at all. Fallout 4 is quite generous with this XP, and to get to level 20 isn't really that hard. And it's really going to be after that point, from when we've included Idiot Savant, where you could do with that extra bonus for the XP gain. In order to take Idiot Savant here at level 19, we're also relying on the Luck Bobblehead to boost our luck up from 4 to 5. Now that Luck Bobblehead is trapped on S.P.E.C.I.A.L Island, so you're going to need to make quite a journey over there to go and get it. Now, this could be a bit difficult, but we think it's definitely more manageable at level 19. You can also see here that as we're getting closer to level 20, we're using some of our perks to boost his special stats to make sure that we're ready for the more difficult tasks that come as you progress through the game.
When it comes to choosing a faction later on in the game, we think that Wolverine should side with the Railroad. This comes down to quite a few of his character elements kind of cancelling out the other factions. Logan is no lover of science or experimentation because of what's been done to him in the past, and because of that, it kind of rules the Institute and the Brotherhood out. Wolverine's had some bad experiences with robots trying to take over the world, so the Institute is something that's going to have to be stopped. But he also doesn't much care about preserving the technology either. Rebuilding civilization isn't going to be on the top of his agenda either, which also kind of rules out the Minutemen. But if there's one thing we do know about Wolverine, is that he's constantly fighting for freedom. As an X-Man, he is fighting for the freedom of people who look human, but aren't and are persecuted because of it. And although this is certainly not in the comics, in X-Men Origins Wolverine, he serves in the American Civil War, despite being a Canadian. Considering his loose ties to the American Civil War, and then also his fighting for the oppressed, the Railroad is really the only place for him to go.
You've left a trail of destruction in your wake. Gone places no sane person would go alone.
So you're vouching for him?
Yes, trust me. He's someone we want on our side.
When it comes to weapons and armour for Wolverine, it's pretty simple. We're going to be using bladed knuckles and some simple leather armour for the most part. To get your hands on some knuckles, all you need to do is cross the bridge out of Sanctuary and you're confronted by a dead raider who always has a pair of knuckles. Now, as you may have noticed in our perk layouts, we do need to take the first rank of blacksmith right away so we can go back into Sanctuary and craft ourselves some bladed knuckles. You don't need too many resources, and if you scrapped everything in Sanctuary, you should have the adhesive and the leather required to be able to build them. For armour early on in the game, I would recommend also taking the Drifter outfit from the same raider that you took the knuckles. And then as you progress on, I would recommend using either the army fatigues or the military fatigues. The army fatigues will give you +1 strength and +1 agility, whereas the military fatigues will give you +2 agility. Both of these outfits are going to be very useful for our Wolverine because they both boost 2 of our main special stats. To go along with your fatigues of choice, we recommend going with some leather armour. Wolverine doesn't strike us as the kind of guy that would be covered head to toe in combat armour, so we think the leather armour suits his character much better. And as we're siding with the Railroad, as we progress further with their quests, we'll be able to unlock Ballistic Weave, which is an incredibly strong armour upgrade. So once you get past level 20, the Armourer perk is definitely something that we would recommend investing in. As a final note, having played this build on the LP on our channel, I know for a fact that it can be quite tough staying alive early on in the game, especially if you're playing on higher difficulty levels or survival mode. Because of this, if you want to go out and swap the leather armour for some combat armour to give you some extra damage protection to help you stay alive, then there's absolutely nothing wrong with that at all. As long as you're not using power armour, we think you can do whatever you want with the clothes that you're wearing.
I'm gonna tell you.
So, what did you guys think of our Wolverine build? Is there anything at the beginning of the game that you would do differently? Is there something in the character that we've missed? Are there any other characters from X-Men Apocalypse or not that you would like to see us build? Let us know in the comments below. Thank you for joining us on Awful Commentary, and we hope to see you again soon.